Hello, Jess Too Good here, and today I'm reviewing the Batmobile LEGO the Batman Movie set. This has 5 minifigures, retails for $60 in the United States, and has 581 pieces. Now let's take a look at those minifigures.
So first minifigure up is Batman. This one is different from, say, the Mr. Freeze set, which I reviewed, because this one in particular actually has a different face underneath. You can see that he has this more angry look with his chin showing, and then he has this more kind of, I guess, shouting look right here. His accessory is a batarang. He has some nice back printing, and of course he does have this new utility belt piece. If you're wondering, the utility belt piece just kind of clips through the top of the legs. And because there's a utility belt piece now, there's no printing underneath for a utility belt. So here is Robin, a really funny looking minifigure. I mean, you could take off his head glasses combo, and you can see he has just a really chipper face right there with some freckle detail and everything, but that gets covered up with his goggles. And then you also got this really nice gun that says Bat merch on here. I think this is like really hilarious, and there's this nice Batman logo on a 1x1 tile on front there, and no printing on the other side of the canister. That's a really neat little piece. For the minifigure himself, there's also this little cape right here, which is the same one that Batgirl uses, a really awesome looking cape. And if you look at the back of his torso, he does have some nice little detailing there, as well as dual molded arms, so that works out really well. And his legs are actually dual molded as well, so very detailed minifigure, but that goes to say about lots of other LEGO Batman movie minifigures, because so many of these are so detailed. He also has an alternate facial expression right there, which you can see underneath. It is a pretty worried look. And then there's the Kabuki twins, which are really strong minifigures. I love how these came out. These are actually characters who are very obscure, and I like how the LEGO Batman movie sets have obscure characters in general. These were from the Batman 2004 series, I believe it was, or 2005, around that time, which is really cool to see them because they were Penguin's henchmen, so that's pretty neat. They also have those little claws, the same Wolverine claws, and like I said, you get 2 of the same ones in this set, and both look really crazy. And I want to save the worst for last because this is when my review is going to get pretty negative. So here is Manbat, and this is the same exact one from that 2014 $20 set. So in a more expensive set, there's an identical minifigure villain. Why? That's all I'm asking. Why didn't you just update it? Because all other minifigures in this line are all updated versions of classic Batman villains that we've seen in LEGO before, or classic Batman heroes like Robin and Batgirl. And even Batman himself has an update with the utility belt. This is just the same exact one, verbatim, from that 2014 $20 Man-Bat attack set. Just so lame to me that they didn't just update him. Either way, he does, he is a pretty cool minifigure. It's just that I wish I would have updated him. And he has the same weapon from there, which is a dynamite stick. And he has a worried face right there, and you could switch it around to have a more scary face on the back right there. So pretty nice looking minifigure. Just so lame that they didn't update him in any way.
So here's the vehicle itself. You can see it has huge wheels, and that's really my big problem with that set, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Either way, the central part right here actually looks pretty nice. I like the colors of black and red. That's actually a really nice kind of color combination. There's some stickers to aid that. It says the Speedwagon right there, insert JoJo reference. There's also the nice stickers right here, which kind of have these red stripes on them. I like some of the designs, like using these. They use a lot of these gold bar pieces in black, and they also use a lot of cheese slips to give it kind of a nice rigid design. You can see there's even some roofing pieces on the front. I like how it's topped off with a little batarang, as well as Batitude right there, and that's actually used twice. There's 2 stickers front and back. And on this side right here, you can see it's quite similar to the other side. Another feature I like of the sides are just these little pipe pieces right here, which are newer pieces for 2017, and they look really nice, as well as some designs like this sticker right there, which again is found on the other side as well. Either way, we'll take a look at the cockpit before we get to the dreaded wheels. So here is the cockpit area. Of course, if you want to take that off, you could pull it off yourself, or they have this little play feature right here, which just kind of swish and it pops off like that. Now, if you do take it off like that, it's actually pretty hard to put it back on. There's just, you see, you gotta either manually take off this whole thing, which is a pain in the butt, or if you're lucky, you could kind of push it off from the front. That's been working a lot lately, but it used to not work at all by pushing on the front. Either way, to take a closer look inside, you're going to have to remove the windshield anyways. And you can see that there's some nice kind of control panel designs right there, which are stickers, and this one looks like a little radar of the whole vehicle or something. And of course, you do have space for Batman and Robin. And once you remove them, you can see there are some jumpers inside that kind of keep them in place. And there's 2 buttons. I guess one would be like the eject button or something, and
this little steering wheel right here. Now you would think this space right here would be some place to store equipment, but nope, that doesn't fit for any equipment because this little play feature right here kind of gets in the way. So that's it for the whole cockpit area. Now let's take a look at those dreaded wheels. So the main play feature of the set is a transforming feature, which to do that, you got to kind of reposition the wheels, which are on these little hinges, so it makes it easy for them to reposition. So this is one of the transformed designs. This one right here is what I call the monster truck hearse, because that's what it looks like to me. Very ugly in my opinion. I don't know why they had this little design right here. It just ends up looking like a mess. And the other transformed design is one that puts it into flight mode. So this is the flight mode design, and this one looks pretty bad as well. I mean, these wheels with the tires do not substitute for like a turbine or anything like that, so it ends up looking pretty horrible in my opinion. I don't know why they had this focus on the transforming play feature when both of the results look really, really bad. Either way, there are some more details that I kind of glossed over. For example, the back almost looks like the back of like a tumbler or something. It doesn't look too bad actually from the back. And I do like this little engine with the kind of purple blast right there. And of course, there's that Batitude second little license plate. And on the side, there's also these little stud shooters, which is the third play feature of the set, the third and final play feature. And they just kind of shoot out like that. There's also these nice little gun designs right here, as well as Batman logos on the actual wheel hubcaps, which is quite interesting. And those are all stickered pieces, though, and they're found on each one of the wheels. So that is it for the Batmobile. You can see I don't really have a positive view on this, and we'll take a look at the box and then the final verdict. Here's the box art, which I do admit is actually really cool. I love that background right there. And the back, which shows all the little play features. Also include our two instruction booklets, which are pretty huge. I mean, this was a pretty long build. And again, it is $60. This one has some cool advertisements on the back. Build something Batman, yada, yada, yada. Some of the play features, which are very, very minuscule. And you also got the sets right there. You guys know I don't like this set. Really, it's kind of sad in my opinion. $60, and I'll tell you everything I like about it first, okay? First off, this main part right here in the middle, it's a good build. It's not perfect. It does have that Batmobile feel, and I like the color scheme, and I like how it says Speedwagon, and there is a lot of funny parts in here, like that Speedwagon thing, and Batitude on the license plates, and Bat merch. Those are all really good parts, and then I do like 4 out of the 5 minifigures a lot. Batman and Robin, yes, we've gotten a lot of Batman and Robins before, but these, you know, have a lot of flavor to them. They have different faces and everything. I love that expressivity. And of course, the 2 exclusive Kabuki twins. It's so cool that they put them in a LEGO set because those are very obscure characters. But besides maybe the pieces included, that's about the only positives I could really come up with in this set. Because the rest of the set is really disappointing to me. You got these big wheels, and this is what really kills the set. This kills the set, because these are humongous wheels that give it this over-encumbered kind of just massive look. And I guess, I mean, I always expected the Batmobile to be sleek and everything, but those wheels just make it this unnecessarily huge vehicle that won't be sleek, and it makes it so that it kind of detracts from the cool look of this middle section right here. You're just kind of distracted by these big, ugly wheels. And, I mean, of course, those are there for the transforming feature, right? So how does the transforming feature play out? Well, terribly, because this, which is one of the transformed models they suggest, which I guess is like a flying vehicle or something, looks terrible, because no flying vehicle would use, like, tires as, like, a turbine part. So, that's right there. If they didn't have tires there, like if they had, say, like the Space Police wheels, it would work better in its flying mode, but then that wouldn't make much sense either. So what you get right here is just this really ugly looking mess. And then the other transformed features, like the worst, it looks like a monster truck hearse, in my opinion. You know, hearse, the little vehicle that takes away like coffins of dead people. Yeah, that's this one right here, the monster truck hearse, which is terrible. That looks really bad. Sure, maybe a lot of young kids will like this, but I can't see a lot of adults liking it, especially, or maybe I'm just totally off. Maybe adults love it, but I'm just telling you my personal opinion. I do not think it's worth $60. Yes, it has a good price per piece ratio. Yes, it has some good minifigures, but it's not worth $60, especially considering the 2 or 3 play features of the set. Okay, one of them's a flick and fire
or not flick and fire, but a stud shooter, okay? You could get a stud shooter in so many sets, whatever, but it's an okay play feature, you know, it works fine. Then you got this play feature, which isn't really a play feature. All it does is kind of pop off the top. Why? Because when you try putting it back on now, you have to literally take off the whole front kind of windshield and then manually put it on like that, which is just a time waster in my opinion. So there's that. And then the main play feature is a transforming feature, which just works terribly because all the other models look even worse than the main model, which already looks pretty bad. So yep, that's my whole feeling on this set. Sorry for the little mini rant there, but I do not recommend this set. I will give this set a D. The only redeeming qualities are the minifigures, some of the pieces, and this middle part right here. I want to see some people mod this into a sleeker Batmobile because it does have potential. So yeah, that's it for now. Sorry for the disappointing video. I'll see you guys later. Bye.